Welcome back once again. You have reached PayDirt. I am your host, Brandon Herriott, a.k.a. PayDirt, with your host, Pay Saunders. Pay, what's good?
What's going on, my boy? It is that time of the week again where we try to figure out where we went wrong and where our money is hiding.
I actually had about a 7-unit increase, and it wasn't because of what I bet as much as it was how much I bet on what games. Again, you know, we talked about how many units put on each game. It did really well in that Lions game, did really good in that Texans game, and the margin of victory sometimes is very thin, and that was very evident in that Bengals-Giants game, which was pretty ugly to watch. But Chase Brown pulled out a late cover for me, hitting a parlay and a bet, and brought home some cash for me. So I appreciated him very much. So
Me, I was chasing some of those locks that we talked about last week. As you said, those three easy ones. I was pairing those up with some underdogs. I was trying to get the most bang for my buck.
Get a little more juice out of it.
Yeah, of course. You like the juice. You like the squeeze. But let me tell you something about what happened during week 6 of the NFL football season. Something I've never seen before. There were 10 home underdogs. All of them lost. 0-10 against the spread. All 10 home underdogs. I guarantee you will never see that again. That is crazy work. The nastiest of work that I've ever been a part of. Wow. You would think at the crib, like, okay, you could cover this. You can cover this 2.5. You're at the crib. No. Everybody got bulldozed.
You know what's crazy too? I started noticing some stuff about college football, and you know, looking at matchups is what I normally try to do, and styles, and you know, the whole styles make fights and live. But that's kind of where I've been looking at it, man. You said something a couple weeks ago, and you kind of floated it out there as a question, and the more I pay attention to it, these college kids are not used to flying across the country during the middle of the week to play ball games. And as we've gotten these super conferences, these kids that are flying from California across to, you know, Florida or Ohio State out to Oregon, or Michigan out to Washington, or USC out to Michigan, like those are where we're seeing that they're not covering. You know what I mean? USC flies out to Minnesota and gets beat. But then plays Penn State really tough. Penn State, you know, wins, but doesn't look good doing so. So there's some interesting aspects of that I'm going to start keeping in mind a little bit more. And listen, is this something maybe down the road we start seeing a little bit more mindful of those teams that are flying across the country and what their schedules look like? Possibly. But right now, it's really not taken into consideration. And those guys are having some hard trucking. So I'm going to keep my eyes on that as well.
Definitely. You got to pay attention to the trends. That's what we're here for. We want to point out those trends, and we want to exploit it.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of the name of the game, man. Mm-hmm. Name of the game. Well, let's get over this last week. 3-3 for the third straight week. Keeping our head above water. 16-14 overall for the year. Keeping above 500. But we want to hit that. For those of you who don't know, professional gambling experts, 58% above for the year, and you're in. So that's what our goal is trying to hit that 58%. So we're going to keep plugging away at it, and we're going to take a look at some games here this week. We're going to start with college football. College football, man. This one's been tough for me. It was I did well early. I've had slump the past few weeks. I'm getting better at the NFL game now that I've watched some more film, and these college kids are being college kids. What sticks out to you in the college game this week that you think you might want to put some ducats on?
First question I have, B, and I'm probably putting the horse before the carriage before the horse, is maybe Vanderbilt is actually good.
Quite possibly.
Quite possibly. You see that line this week that DraftKings has them at? They're a 25.5-point favorite. Oh, 25.5-point favorite over
Have you seen it before? That's the real question.
For a team full of nerds? No.
I don't think I've ever seen Vanderbilt favored by 3 touchdowns in my life.
Never. That's crazy. So now the question I have is it the time? Is it time? Is it now that time to go ahead and rock out with them? Because you want to get the juice while it's good, right? Because eventually water's going to find its level, and I don't necessarily think
Vanderbilt is at home against Testicle Tech.
Yes,
a fan favorite of ours, Ball State.
I don't think Vanderbilt is ever good enough to be almost a 30-point favorite, but it's right now time to strike while the iron's hot for them, because they're playing hot. They got the people watching. Is it now?
Ball State barely beat Kent State last week. Man, Ball State got beat by James Madison 63-7. Is Vanderbilt as good as James Madison?
I think they're better.
Man, I don't know. That might be a Vandy blowout.
I can see it. I can see it. Now, can I see 25.5 points? Would you put some money on that?
True. I think the young men at Vanderbilt would tell me there's smarter ways to invest my money.
So you would more likely put the money with Testicle Tech than you would with Vanderbilt.
I think I would more likely keep it right here in my DraftKings account.
Okay. All right.
Are you thinking about getting on there?
It was interesting. The question was, what piqued your interest? I'm going to push away from the table. I've had enough to eat. I'm getting away. Thank you, but no thank you for that game.
I'm there with you. I do think I got a team I think's coming into their own here the past couple of weeks. Going to make somebody over here in our chat extremely happy. And it's not Afton, but hey, Afton. Man, I think Notre Dame's offense is coming alive at the right time. I think we saw Georgia Tech earlier this year got a little more hype than they should have for beating a Florida State team that's obviously not very good. Notre Dame is a 12-point underdog playing down there in Atlanta against Georgia Tech, and I think they cover this by more than 2 touchdowns. I think they're on that cusp, right, in that top 12, and I think they need the style points beating these teams. USC is not, is left with them and not going to be style points, so they're going to look at their best plays left are going to be, the Army-Navy situation there. So I think this is right. I think Notre Dame comes in here and takes care of business. I think Leonard looks better than he has all year, and I think they beat a Georgia Tech team that is not physical enough to run the ball the way they want to against that Notre Dame team. So I'm taking Notre Dame.
I agree. I think Notre Dame is the better team going into Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is, for all the good wins they had, they were ranked at week 2 of the season. They've kind of fell back to earth. Water found its level in Atlanta. So now I think they're going to have a rude awakening with the actual best football team full of nerds in Notre Dame. Notre Dame's going to come to town. I expect Notre Dame to win by 2 tutties. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia Tech's won a couple of games recently over basketball schools at UNC and Duke. But Louisville beat them by 12. I think Notre Dame is better than Louisville. I just expect them here. You know, they got ranked by beating UCF and Florida State. I just expect this. I think Notre Dame needs to take care of business here. And Tim, we might have just jinxed your team. Sorry.
My bad.
Sorry, not sorry.
Right.
What else you got on here?
All right. So the second game I was looking at in the Big Ten, your favorite, Indiana is hosting Nebraska. They are a 6.5-point fave. How do you feel about that?
You know, it's funny. This is on one of my. This is on one of mine as well. Indiana's playing good ball, right? Just beat Northwestern 41-24. Not a big feather in the cap to beat Northwestern. Maryland, I don't think is playing well. 42-28, they beat them. They beat Charlotte. They beat UCLA, who's obviously hasn't been playing well. They beat Western Illinois. So I'm looking at this. They really haven't been tested yet. I don't think they've played a team with the physicality of Nebraska, and I don't think they've played. Listen, Dylan Raiola has been up and down a little bit, but he's still talented, and I think he's more talented than any of the guys that they've played so far at Indiana. I like the 6.5. I like Nebraska plus 6.5 here.
Ooh. I was kind of shaky about this one. I agree with a lot of points you made, but I think it's fairly. It's plausible Indiana can win this game by 7. I'm more leaning to the way of Indiana winning outright than I am Indiana winning by 7. So plus 6.5 for Nebraska, I think that's a safer play than it is Indiana up by 7. I think they can do it. But if we're talking about saving our money here, right? I think Nebraska, they're very physical. They got a Patrick Mahomes clone, and not from the way he plays, just how he looks. He actually looks like a clone. I think it's possible they keep that game closer, and it's a slobber knocker. What about that total? 50.5.
I mean, I would assume it goes over if I was going to play something. But it's a tough play for me.
Okay. So, all right. The 50.5, I think I want to go under with that, but I'm going to stay away. And I got a reason why. I'll talk about it later. I'll go with you on the 6.5 for Nebraska, adding it to the ticket.
I got a question for you about a Big Ten game.
Ooh, I know where you're going.
We talk about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The Maize and Blue go to Illinois. Illinois getting 3.5 points after a pretty poor showing against the worst team in the Big Ten by most accounts in Purdue last week, winning in overtime. Michigan having the bye week, and now the Jack Tuttle experiment at quarterback has officially started.
Oh, how does that make you feel?
How do I want to put this? Sometimes you're shopping at Dollar General.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're shopping at Whole Foods. if you find yourself shopping at Dollar General, you gotta take the best thing you can find at Dollar General. And I feel like this is where we're at right now. I don't think we've got a Whole Food caliber quarterback.
It's hard to stay stocked after winning a title. We'll get back. They once thought the same thing about Jalen Milroe, right?
Yeah.
Well, I got faith. But as far as this weekend goes, Illinois has surprised a lot of people. Michigan has surprised a lot of people in the opposite direction. It can, for me, I think the trend is moving more so Illinois. I will be more secure if I was to go with them. I would feel better, rather, not secure, but I would feel better riding out with the Illinois guys, those fighting Champagniers. Yeah, the fighting Illini from Champaign.
Champagniers, is that a real thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
Champagnians, maybe.
Okay. Your world. Your world. You got some other college news in here for us?
Do I? So, this game I've got right here in front of us. The 3:30, the best game for Saturday, in my opinion. Maybe that's arguably there's two great games in the SEC, and this one, some people might argue about it being the best, but I'm going to say it's the best. Alabama is going to Knoxville, going to Tennessee. Knoxville is the home underdog by 3. Over under 56. You got to have a take on this one.
You know what I know about these two teams? Not much. I know there's a lot of really good athletes. I can't tell you either one of these teams are good yet.
Really?
They're both ranked.
They're both ranked. If the playoffs started today, they'd both be going. You don't know if they're good? This is
a take for me that I kind of want to talk about a little bit more on Friday, to be honest with you. But the expansion of these leagues, the NIL, the transfer portal, it really has made things a little more difficult for me to get my head around than ever before. Some of these teams has changed drastically. I think you're going to see these teams are going to be a lot different from the beginning of the season to the end of the season because they're going to develop together because they haven't played a lot of snaps and a lot of game time with each other. Practice is not the same as game. Everybody that's played sports knows that. You really can't, as much as you try to have practice like games, they're just not.
Right.
So that's, I'm in a weird spot where a lot of times with these matchups, I don't know. I thought Tennessee had a great quarterback play. Yeah.
So for me, B, I like two things out of this game. I like Alabama to win. That three is a little too dicey for me. And I like the under. I think both teams can run the ball successfully. Enough to the fact that the points is going to be a little bit hard to come by. Both got defense. I mean, it's the SEC, right? You're going to have somebody flying around making stops. But I don't think they're going to be able to pass the ball for much. I think the total at 56 right now, that's good money. If you wait too long, it might go down, but it might go up. But I think under 56 right now, that's perfect for this game. I think you can see a 20, 21, 26 type game. I'm going to go with the under on this one, and I'll take Alabama to win outright.
All right. I don't know. I get it. You make a good case. The SEC game I was looking at was actually The Auburn Tigers
What?
playing the Mizzou Tigers in Missouri, and Auburn's plus 4.5. I really think Missouri has been very overvalued. Fading them has been playing well for me right now. So I kind of like Auburn plus 4.5. What are your thoughts on that one?
I'm shocked. I think so. Auburn is. Let me see. Let me dig deep. Auburn is. I feel confident saying I think they're better than Mizzou. And I don't think Mizzou. I don't think Mizzou's a bad squad at all. But I agree. I think they are a little overrated. For me, a little too rich for my blood. I'm gonna stay away from it. But I like the way that you're leaning. No Diddy.
Yeah, and that's all it is. It's more of a lean than anything. I'm going to keep an eye on it. California beating Auburn in Auburn is the one thing that stopped me from really believing this right now. That's why it was more of a question than curiosity than it was a flat out bet.
Gotcha.
Anything else you see in the college slate?
Are we not going to talk about the number one team in the nation that's playing?
Texas and Georgia.
Yeah, the matinee. Well, the primetime game, rather. For everybody. Texas, number one Texas is hosting the Bulldogs of Athens, Georgia. They are 5-point faves. Now, I'm going to come back to something you said. You said you don't think Indiana's been tested enough this season. And they're primed to get a reality check. I kind of think, I've been saying this about Texas for the last 2-3 weeks. I think they've caught everybody at good times. I think they haven't really had a real good shot in the mouth. We haven't seen them respond to a good shot in the mouth, rather, right? They're going to get it this weekend.
Very physical team.
Yes, Georgia's very physical. Georgia they can go upstairs on you too. You're gonna need some big plays out of Quinn Ewers. You and Big G says Quinn Ewers is a dink and dunk type of guy. I think that's a little over simplification of him. However, he's won big games. Can he do it again? That's the question.
You know what? Carson Beck will you get? Second half, Alabama Carson Beck beats Texas. First half, Carson Beck does not beat Texas.
That's a good point. I can't fathom Georgia losing by 5. I don't care how you slice it. Georgia, they've got too much character. They can lose their second game of the season, albeit being this early. But losing this game of the season by 5 to a newcomer to the conference, not that matters any, but I don't care. I'm taking Georgia plus 5. I think that's free money.
You know, they need it more. I definitely lean that way.
Yeah, they definitely need it more. I mean, their season's on the line, possibly. We don't know, how many 2-loss teams are going to make the playoffs, but their season is more so in jeopardy than Texas is. That's for sure.
Definitely.
You got anything else for Saturday?
That's all I've got for college football, man.
All right.
I think you're looking at that's maybe not on the football slate that you want to add in here before we take a break?
So, it's baseball. They're in the championship series. The WNBA has game 3 of the finals tonight. If you're watching this live, it's enough time for you to get that in. The series is tied 1-1. Is now swinging towards the Minneapolis as the home team now. and they're still underdogs. I was mad. A late turnover cost me in game 2. They had the Lynx down. They had the Lynx as a 7-point dog. I said, "There's no way they're gonna lose by 7." The game was a 3-point game, like under 2 minutes left. A late turnover off of Courtney Williams dribbled the ball off her foot, led to a 3-on-1 break. Vandersloot hit a wide open 3, took the game back up to 6, and it was never. They eventually got it over 7, and then my money was gone. This time, Minnesota Lynx, I'm sorry, they're 3.5-point fave. That just shows you the type of respect that the odds makers are giving Liberty. They are a super team. They deserve the respect, right? The number 1 seed for a reason. I'm taking my squad to win outright. I'm taking them.
Really?
I am. The game, you got to give it to home cooking. They're going to win a game on the road. I mean, at the crib. They have the greatest coach of all time. They have, I'm gonna say it again, the best 3-point shooting team in the league, the best defensive player. I mean, the best defensive team in the league, the defensive player of the league. They're going to defend home court. I have no doubts in my mind that they can get game 3 and swing the entire series in their direction tonight.
Does that mean I should cash out my bet? Because I got the Liberty minus 3.5 tonight.
No, let it ride. Let it ride.
I like the Liberty them girls.
Yeah, there's no shade in that, no disrespect. I mean, that's a good thing to have. Like, again, I'm gonna say it again. They are a super team. They have 2 former MVPs. They have 2 other All-Stars. The whole starting lineup was Olympians. They're as good as advertised. So I would not say, because I could be wrong. Liberty could finally pull up and pull out a finals win and take the commanding lead in the series, something they have rarely done in their history, but we shall see tonight. Like I said, the championship series are going on in Major League Baseball. The Mets are hosting the Dodgers, and the Cleveland Guardians, I hate that name, is hosting the Yankees. Any thoughts on these real fast?
Yeah, just pitching matchup wise, I do like the Guardians to get their 1 win out of this gentleman's sweep with Matthew Boyd going against Clark Schmidt.
Mm-hmm. Pitching wise, also, I like the Mets to go ahead and take the command of that series as well. Luis Severino, I got faith in him. And the Mets are magical, man. I don't know.
2 dogs. Gotta love it.
Mm-hmm.
2 home dogs, too.
All right. So, I mean, that's all I got.
I'm in there with you. All right. Well, that's it. That's the first half here. We got our college out. Give us just a couple moments over here. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, we appreciate you rocking with us. Go ahead and give us that 5-star rate review. Make a comment if you can. Share us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that thumbs up if you're watching us on YouTube. And we will be right back after these messages from our partner. Welcome back. I love to splash in that loud music on the comeback, just so you know we're back from that commercial break if you're listening in your car. Shout out to Mod for the music in the background. It's my favorite track that I get to play on our podcast that we do. So good stuff there, Pay. Listen, enough of the college football. Let's get back to the bread and butter right now, where I've been making my hay. The NFL, which stands for not for long, to make those calls. Shout out Jerry Glanville. All right, Thursday night football. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Boy. Broncos at the Saints. Saints are a 3-point home dog. Over under 37. Yuck.
Yeah, yuck is the word. One thing I want to point out before we even get to the NFL picks, a few weeks back, I was telling everybody, hey, look, man, the unders are cashing right now. You better hit it. It's early in the season. Unders are always in style. Well, guess what happened in week 6? Out of the 14 games, 10 of the overs hit. The time is over for that. What's your favorite saying, B?
Life too short to bet the under.
Life's too short to bet the under?
That's it.
All right. So with that being said, the Thursday night football, Denver Broncos and New Orleans Saints, disgusting. The Saints haven't won a game as they destroyed the Cowboys. And I don't think this will be the game they finally get off the schneid about their offense. But the one thing the Saints do well is run the ball. They won't be running the ball against Denver. That's for sure. Favorite here, the road favorite, Denver Broncos. The total is dicey. The total is 37. I don't know which way I'm going to lean with that one. I don't necessarily think... Is Derek Carr coming back this week? Does anybody know? I'm not sure he is. If he isn't...
I don't think he is.
That under looks a lot better if he isn't. In fact, I don't think the over's hitting any of the Denver Broncos game this season. Let me stat check that. But if that total stands,
Derek Carr is doubtful.
Oh, there you go. I'm clicking the under, and I'm taking the Broncos -3.
Chris Olave is out. Rashid Shaheed is out. So he'll be throwing the ball to Bub Means, whether that's Derek Carr or Spencer Rattler.
I'm sorry. Who's throwing who? Rattler's throwing the ball to who?
Bub. B-U-B. That's B-U-B. Bub Means. You know Bub. Bub went to Pitt.
Yeah, I got a couple of Bubs. I know a lot of Bubs. Yeah, so I am very confident that Denver can win this game quite easily. But keep that on the under. Yeah, do you disagree there, B?
No, I think it's a good play.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to Sunday. No London games this. Oh, crap. I forgot. We do have another London game. Another day, another Sunday. I got to wake up early to watch football. I'm not mad about it. I just wish there were better games. Jacksonville is hosting, quote unquote, hosting the Patriots this week. Jesus F. Christ.
I believe Doug Peterson is playing for his plane ticket here.
Yeah, they might tell him he had to take a boat back. To lose this game, I think he's going to get fired on the way back anyway. But you lose this game, you're definitely not traveling home with the rest of them. And how can they lose this game? The Patriots haven't won since they beat your team week 1. Drake May, they finally put him in the game last week. He did some things that was pretty cool. But will he be able to do that in London against Jacksonville Jaguars? I don't know. I think it's too sketchy for me to even consider the Patriots in any feasible mind. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are they to be 5.5 point favorites over anybody? They haven't looked good, other than sans for that one win this season. They haven't looked good, offense or defense, all season. So, well, I'll take that back. The defense is pretty decent. You have any thoughts on the who wins this game or the spread?
I do have some thoughts on this game. My thought is this. If you're on the West Coast, sleep in. If you're on the East Coast, go ahead. If you got yard work to do, it's that season where you might be raking or do some of those kind of things, or getting ready for winter, or taking down your patio furniture, whatever it is that you need to do that Sunday between 9:30 and 12:30. Get that out the way.
Raking. It's that time of year already?
If you got to rake some leaves, oh yeah, I got leaves everywhere already.
Shit.
Yep. So that's my suggestion to everybody. Don't watch this game. Don't bet on this game. Just avoid it. Texas,
Agreed.
Alabama, or Texas, Georgia, I think much more entertaining than the New England Patriots and Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, they're hoping. Both of those teams are hoping they get a bunch of those players out of that game.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. The game of the weekend, in my opinion, it should have been flexed to Sunday Night Football. We talked about it ad nauseum on the NFC Roundtable that was broadcast right before this episode of PayDirt live. Check that out on the Vikings First and Skull page. It would premiere on the First of the Chicago Sports Fan channel tomorrow. But Detroit Lions are going to see the Minnesota Vikings 4-1 versus 5-0 for the number one seed in the conference and the number one seed in the division, obviously, because they're division foes. B, this is the biggest game. It can go either way, as that line tells you. 1.5 fave for the home team Vikings. I think we may disagree on this one.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. So I would tend to give the nod here to Detroit under normal circumstances. But as we were talking before we went on there, Detroit's got 10 guys on IR on defense. So that's tough. And then let's link that up with, I give Detroit the nod on offense as well. I think their offense is a little bit better, but Minnesota's also coming off of a bye week with a very good defensive coordinator who got to watch all that their offense has been doing this year. So, this was on my questions list, man. I'm struggling with this one. I really am.
So the only themable pass rush the Detroit Lions have was Aiden Hutchinson. As you all have seen, he's done for the year. He's on IR. Get well soon. That's going to give Sam.
That won't be soon.
No, it won't be. Hey, Darnold, he's going to have a lot more time in the pocket to consider where he wants to throw the ball. Let Justin Jefferson's routes develop deep. There is going to be points galore in this game because Detroit's coming off a 47-point outburst against Dallas, Jerry's boys. There is no doubt in my mind that the over can hit in this game. I'm going to go ahead and check that off. As far as the winner, you said it. Minnesota's had time to scheme him up. Minnesota's Detroit showed everything in their arsenal, in their playbook against Dallas. They was pulling out trick plays all fourth quarter. You showed it. They showed their hand, in my opinion. Minnesota's got a very ferocious, very aggressive defense. I think they're only vulnerable on the outside. Maybe Jameson Williams gets loose deep once or twice. But Jared Goff is going to be rushed this whole game. Jonathan Greenard and the rest of those boys from Minnesota, they can get home. And just Jared Goff, from time to time, when he's rushed, he's not so good. I expect from this game, a lot of points, like I already said. But I got Minnesota taking this game home.
Yeah, to your point, the only lion that's playing right now that has 2 sacks or more is 2.5 by McNeil, the defensive tackle. That's not a. I mean, you'd kind of like to get. I believe you'd like to get in Sam Darnold's face, as much as possible for that game, and I don't know if they can pull that off right now. There's 4 people playing for the Vikings with 2 or more sacks. I just, that's going to be a tough one, and none of them are Turner. You know what I mean? Like, you're leading pass rusher from last year, so I probably give a slight nod to the Vikings here, but I prefer just that over.
All right. I'm taking the Vikes -1.5 at the home as the home fave. The over we both like. All right, moving on down. Anything else you see out of that 1 o'clock slate? There's no buys this week. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a weird system this year with the two week bye. I don't know. I can't. It's hard for me to keep track of. Life's too short to bet the under, Pay.
Right.
I think we're going to see an over and probably an upset for this over, because you're probably not going to think it's an over. I think the Bengals-Browns game goes over. It's a 41.5 point over under. I think the Bengals defense, the Giants game, I think was just the Giants being the Giants. Will the Browns be the Browns? Possibly, but I think they need to run the ball a little bit more. I think you're going to see a 28 to 17 or 20 game here. I think this hits over. 28-20.
That's interesting, considering Cleveland, their offense got a little worse. Now, they're saying Chubb might be playing this game?
Yes, but you're saying their offense got worse because they got rid of the veteran wide receiver that was leading the league in drop passes.
Actually, I was saying their offense got worse because they still said Deshaun Watson is starting.
All right, fair.
But getting rid of the guy who was leading the team in targets and the veteran wide receiver. I mean, we all know who Amari Cooper is. He's had drop issues his whole career. It hasn't stopped him from being productive. Their offense did get a little worse, as if it was possible to get worse, because their offense was pretty terrible to begin with. That over 41.5 is typically not a very high bar to climb, but I will caution this one. I will go back and look at all the other Cleveland games so far this season. How many of them went over? How many of them was pretty low scoring? This past week.
The Browns haven't scored over 20 points this year. They also haven't played the 32nd ranked defense in the league.
Ooh, but they're bringing back Chubb this week supposedly. Their running back situation is tenuous. I think Ford is hurt too. Ugh. I don't know. I'm gonna stay away from the total on this one. I do like Cincinnati by Tutty.
I like that. Ford is questionable right now.
Yeah. All right. What else we got?
Let's see. What's my next game out here? Green Bay. That's my next one.
I like that one. I had that circle too. Green Bay. What?
I find this almost so we got Houston at Green Bay. Green Bay favored by 3. I don't know. I've seen some questionable things out of Green Bay recently. I like Houston in this game.
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of like Green Bay in this game, to be honest with you.
House divided again.
Yeah. Green Bay's their defense isn't getting the pub that it deserves, but they're for real. They're for real. Jordan Love, I'm sad to say because I'm tired of Green Bay having good quarterbacks, but he's legit. I don't think he's healthy. Some of the throws he was making last week, it didn't look like somebody that was confident in their plant leg. He was throwing off his back foot a lot. Some of that other stuff was going, but he just got lucky. With that said, I think Green Bay can win this game physically. Nico Collins being out, Joe Mixon's back, Houston's not coming in slumping or anything like that. I think they're 4-1 as well, or 4-2. So it's going to be close.
They're 5-1.
5-1.
4-2.
It's going to be close. I would edge Green Bay for one, they're home, for two, their defense is legit.
So the Texans going into here we go. Going into that Bills game 2 weeks ago, you were poo-pooing the Texans as I took the Texans.
That's true.
And I don't know, they haven't really played good against good teams, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, but at the end of the day, they're 3-1. And what's the narrative for them if they beat the Bills and go 4-1? And then they have the Patriots after that, and they're 5-1. So I think the narrative is that they're a pretty good football team. I think this separates them a little bit more. And I happen to, and I listen, this is where it gets murky, right? Is this our biases speaking here, or is this the way we think about it? I think there's better quarterback play and therefore better teams right now in the AFC. You're an NFC guy, probably looking at the NFC that way, of more physicality. I take the Texans here. You take the Packers here. So I think that's the reason why. I just look at it quarterback-wise. I've seen Jordan Love make some ill-advised throws. I've seen him get away with some of them. I think C.J. Stroud is a little bit better passer of the ball, and I think he takes care of the ball a little bit better. I think he goes into Green Bay and gets this done.
All right. Well, we got a house divided on this one.
We can let Afton. Afton can be the tiebreaker. Afton, who you got?
Yeah, let us know. Next game you got.
Now I got questions. I'm in question mode. You got anything left that you like?
I got a couple of them, in the later in the day. But yeah, ask the question. Let's get it out there.
Well, let's see. I think mine might be later in the day too. Maybe not in the Commanders game's a 4:05 game. Commanders Panthers. Commanders are favored by 8. I get that. Over under 52.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
What? None of this does it look right to you?
So if the Commanders score 35, we think the Panthers are going to put up what? 21? 17? Well, is that 35-17? Is that what they're thinking?
One of them is going to happen. The Panthers are going to give up a lot of points because that defense is terrible. Now, the math don't necessarily math because I think the Commanders have a formidable defense, at least not a pushover defense. However, I think their two best defensive players are hurt, right? Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen's done for the year. Andy Dalton might have a little time to get some, mix some things up to his receivers.
Cooking.
Yeah. Chuba Hubbard, he's no slouch either. He's been killing for one of my fantasy teams. I mean, can they score 17 plus? That might be pushing it. That might be a bridge too far. But I think 2 touchdowns is. I think we're safe saying they can score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I found that it's a weird. I thought it was too high. I thought the over was too high when I thought about it.
I agree. I would prefer to be a little cautious. I'll take the under.
Because I think if the Commanders get ahead, I mean, they've got the kind of physical running game that they can run the ball there. They can take some of the time off the clock.
Agreed. And for one thing, they do a lot. They run a lot. So if Brian Thomas is back for DC, you're going to see a lot of running. I mean, that's a staple of their offense. They don't do a lot of high flying passing anyway. It's a lot of not short in the field, but high low concepts for Jaden Daniels, and they're doing a lot of screens, a lot of RPO action too. They're going to run the ball a lot. That clock is going to be moving.
And Robinson was back to practice. He was limited, but he was back to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Afton has spoken. She broke the tiebreaker here in the Texans-Packers game. With
all right.
Sorry, Pay.
Houston it is. All right.
Do we have 17 on the bet slip?
Yes, we do. That is a 17th there. Yeah. It's a lot of games this weekend.
And listen, the last bet I have, I don't want you to even put it down on the. I don't even want you to put it down on the list because here's the reason. Here's the reason why I've got it. Okay, because they need it more. Period. End of story. And because I saw,
I know you're not talking about that team in East Rutherford. Please don't be talking about that team.
And because I saw on their bye week, out at baseball games and concerts and living it up and having a good time. I'm talking about the Kansas City Chiefs at the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are favored by 1.5. And I just think it's time for the Chiefs to lose. I'm going to take a 49ers here to win this game.
Too rich for my blood.
I told you not to even mark it down. We don't need 18 on the slip without being one.
Okay. All right. Okay, there's 3 games left in the NFL week. We've got the Sunday night football game. I do not want to watch that. The Jets versus the Steelers. We got 2 Monday night football games again this week. I don't know why they keep doing this to us, but here we are. Baltimore is going south to see Tampa Bay, Baker's boys, and the Chargers are playing Arizona Cardinals. Out of those 3 games, anything strikes your fancy?
I do not have anything in these games. I almost threw in here taking the Buccaneers just because you have a take that the Ravens would start off 7-2, and I really want them to have 3 losses. That's the only reason why. It was very petty. You
got to build your petty parlay. # petty parlay elsewhere.
Oh, petty parlay. I love it.
On my petty parlay, Steelers and the Jets. Under 38. With the maybe that Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback for Pittsburgh.
I don't understand what's going on here.
I do. Insanity. That's what's going on here. I like that under 38. Just throwing it out there. All right. If you got nothing else, I got nothing else. So we can go ahead and start whittling this down for our pick 6.
Man, we are going to need a very large whittle here.
Yes, we are. All right. Let's start at the beginning. Saturday. Well, actually, no. Thursday. We have 3 Thursday games.
Let's start here. Let's start with taking off the baseball and the basketball.
All right.
Just take it off.
No, those are shaky anyway. It's the playoffs. It's the semifinals, the finals. Yeah, things are shaky right there. All right, those are gone.
All right, only 9 more to get rid of.
All right. You can go first. What do you see? You want to start with football?
Yeah, it's all football. College?
I mean, I'm sorry. College football.
Life's too short to bet the under. I always take that off first.
All right. Life's too short to bet the under.
Under 56 at Bama Tennessee game.
All right. I mean, I'm not mad at that.
That Broncos Saints one made a lot of sense though. I like the Broncos -3 better than I do that under. Take that other under off.
Under 37?
Yeah.
All right. Poo-poo.
Yep, I'm poo-pooing on your unders. You can poo-poo on the overs too. Out of those 4 college games, which one do you think is the riskiest biscuit?
Nebraska, 6.5.
I agree with you. Because if it was at 7, I would 7.5. I would love it. Yeah. All right. So let's leave those 3 college games for now, and let's go back down. I like the Broncos. I mean, the Saints are just a mash unit right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Detroit found a way because they have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta. They got enough. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull out enough offense to beat the Vikings. I could see, is it time for Sam Darnold to finally fall back to earth?
Mm-hmm.
So I would take the Vikings out. -1.5. I would also take that Bengals over 41.5 out.
Okay.
What else you thinking? What disappoints you most out of those 4 that you can see right there?
So out of these 4 right here on the screen, I think the weakest one of them all would be, sad to say, the Broncos -3. I think that's the weakest one. Not far away from being the Bengals -6. Yes, they are playing a trash team in Cleveland, right?
Historically played really bad in Cleveland right now.
Yes, it is, and it's a division game. So, yeah, throw the records out when you're playing division teams, right? That's what they always tell me. So, in fact, it matters that if one of these 4 had to go, it will be Cincinnati -6.
All right, trash it. All right, go down to the bottom and let's see what we got. We got 3 left. We got to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so under. All right, let's get rid of that Texans game. We were split on that. We were iffy on that one. Commanders -8 and 38.
You want to get rid of those both?
Here's the thing. If it goes under 52, if we're going to bet under 52, I think that's the only way that the Carolina Panthers keep that game within 8 points. If Indeed. It's 21-14 or 28-21 or 20,
mm-hmm.
yeah. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
So we got to get 2 more to get rid of, right? So here's where I'm at with it. Out of all the 8 left, I think the Irish is golden. That was no part, pun intended. I think Alabama is risky. They are playing a good Tennessee team. That's the riskiest one that we got left.
All right, so scratch Bama. Tim, we're riding with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish this week. Get over it.
All right, got 2 more. Georgia.
Oh, we got 1. We got to get 1. We got 7 on the slip. We got to get 6.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. So, all right, 1 more to get rid of. Under 38 from the Sunday Night Football game. -8 spread for the Washington Commanders. That's a lock. I'm not getting rid of that. Under 52. That's a lot. Carolina sucks both ways. No pun intended. No
Hey, no. So I think it's either the Broncos or go down to the bottom. It's either the Broncos or that under 38.
I get rid of the under 38. Oh, come on. Jeez.
All right, Tim Lyons says it's a big mistake taking Notre Dame. I don't think they'll cover, but okay. You know what that means, folks. That is now a 3-unit bet on the Golden Domers.
I'll get rid of the Broncos -3. That's a toss-up, man. Between that and the under Sunday Night Football, I think both of those are really strong plays. But if I had to choose Thursday Night Football, a lot of weird things happen on Thursday.
So here's the other argument I can make.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you saw the Steelers score over 30 points in a game?
Sunday.
Yeah, because their defense can score.
Mm-hmm.
Because their special teams can score.
Indeed.
So that's the weird things that you got to watch out with that game, more so than anything. And now you got Devontae Adams coming back. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and you know what? Aaron Rodgers playing a good defense means he's going to pout. He's going to, blame Garrett Wilson for something that he did. So you're right. There's an opportunity for some shenanigans. Let's get this out of here.
All right.
Let's get that out of there. All right.
So let's get this pick 6.
Yes. All right. It nearly killed us, but we did the work. Notre Dame -12. Georgia +5. Denver Broncos -3. Over 51 in the Detroit Lions at Minnesota Vikings. Under 52, Carolina versus DC Commanders. And the Commanders cover the 8-point spread. That is your pick 6 this week from PayDirt.
All right, I like it. I think we're getting off the 3-3 schneid. I'm calling 5-1 this week. 5-1.
Let's do it.
I might put this in as a parlay. We might get this one.
Yeah, I am.
We're due. All right, any closing comments for the folks, Pay?
My closing comment is don't watch that London game. Do not do it. We have
Breaking leaves is better.
We have to show the NFL that, you know what, we know we love you. We love the content you give, but you got to be you got to give us a solid. Don't force us to watch bad football, and that's bad football.
I agree. I concur. We appreciate you guys rocking with us each and every week. Please take the time to like, subscribe, rate, and review. Share us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. With your help, we keep growing every week, and we appreciate you for that. And that's all we got. Let's go watch some sports. We got sports all day. Was it? We're in the middle of 58 straight days of football?
Yes.
God, love this time of year. We appreciate you rocking with us. We're out of here. Catch us next week, 6:35-ish on Wednesday, where we will be back and you can reach PayDirt.
Go Lynx.